episode number 4, we are going to be live road mapping an actual technology roadmap for a social opt-in. Join us.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your skills to the next level? Maybe start an online division of your business? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Technology Road Mapping, connecting the pieces of online and automation technologies for your business success. With your host, the business technology implementer, tech to entrepreneur translator, online sales and marketing strategist herself, Jennifer Neal.
Okay. Let's get started here. The number one thing that we want to put down is our goal. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on our mission of building our list, right? So we're going to build our list. Then let's start talking about how we are going to get that list building to actually happen. So we're doing a social opt-in, a social online promotion. So we need a way to get people's information. So we need some form of an opt-in. So we're going to put opt-in, and this is probably going to be on a landing page. My thingy is falling down here. All right. Now, okay, got our landing page opt-in. So now the question is, how are we going to start driving people to our landing page? So let's start looking at some other opportunities here. One, we know we could do a Facebook Live. I'm sorry, my writing is so horrible, but the printed for the electronic version will be a whole lot better. It's digital and easier to read. Okay, so we might do a Facebook Live. We might also do like a, what is it called? Like a read entry instead of just a lead magnet. So we might do like a blog post that talks about our opt-in and will lead people into that actual opt-in. They can come read the blog information and say, oh, I want some more information. Okay, now how are we going to get people to each of these things? And again, I just want to reiterate, these are just ideas. So chances are that your diagram is going to look much, much different. And your ideas and your opt-ins and what social channels you're using, all those things are going to be different, and they should be. This is just meant to help give you some ideas and show you how these pieces connect together. So, okay, we have our blog. So let's see, we're going to do some Facebook ads. We're going to do a Facebook boosted post because we're going to post our blog, and we're going to do a boosted post of that blog that'll drive people to it. We're going to do some Twitter posts. We're going to do, let's see, we have a Facebook Live. Let's do some Instagram. And we could even do an Instagram video if we wanted. We could do Instagram ads. Okay. Let's see, those are various different, we can also do a LinkedIn. We could do a LinkedIn post going to even just to the blog, that would probably be. So those are various just different social channels, different ideas and ways that we can get people to our opt-in. Now, right now, I'm just saying one opt-in. Generally, when you're doing this, you'll probably end up with various different opt-ins. So one may be a video email series. One may be a quiz or like a self-survey that you could do. One may be just a download of a checklist or a infographic type thing. So there's multiple different ways that you can get people. All of these are going to end up looking kind of the same, and what you will end up mapping out for every single one of these things. To keep this simple and to make it fit on the paper here, I'm just kind of going with one right now, but again, remember, you can duplicate that whole thing. Okay, so we've talked about the top end, how we're going to get people into your landing page. Now let's talk about what are we going to do right after they have opted in. So this is still just an opt-in, right? But let's talk about what we're going to do. So the opt-in is you're delivering something. We just talked about it could be videos, could be a download, quiz results, something like that. So what happens when they actually put in their information? How are we going to connect with them? So generally, the landing opt-in, we're going to take them to some sort of a thank you page. My paper's falling down again. And then we usually will go into a some sort of an email series. It could be email and text, could be email, phone call, and text, any kind of combination of what it is, what type of communication that you're doing. To keep this simple for this diagram here, I'm just going to list it as some emails. So on our thank you page, we can offer the download or whatever it is that they're doing, or a link to the thing that they opted in for. And then we're going to want to follow up. So we're going to do number 1, follow up. And in that one, we're going to ask them, like, how's it going? Are you connecting? Are you getting the information you need? We can also do number 2. Maybe you want to talk about, like, here's other things that we do. Here's other ways that we can help. And I'm here to help if you have any questions, those kinds of things. You want to make sure that you're connecting and following up. And then maybe another one is check out our Facebook page. Here's our group forum, any of the other ways that people can connect and get kind of additional information. Just want to make sure that they're comfortable, invited into your community, kind of whatever the point of your opt-in is. This is just some ideas for some follow-up. And then, of course, we are going to want to ultimately have them on a long-term nurture, meaning that they're going onto your list, your big ultimate list for the next time that you have a promotion. The whole point of why you're building your list, right, is so that we have a bigger list to market to when you have a promotion that's ready to have something that you're talking about. So we want to make sure that people are actually getting connected into that. So now we have all of these circles. Now let's talk about how we're going to connect them together. Okay, the first connection we want to do is really back to focus on our goal. The goal that we want to do here is grow our list. And the way that we're going to do that is by our opt-in page. It's the main thing that we're doing. We're collecting information. Now, let's go through here and we're going to start connecting. So let's see, let me review the steps. Step number 1 is to set your goal. So we have set our goal here of building our list. Step number 2 is going through and putting in all of the different, what do you need to make that goal accomplish? What are the pieces, the elements that have to happen? So we've done all that with talking about our landing page, and we have to have a thank you page, and then how we're going to get people there with various different ads, and how we're going to follow up here with different emails. So then step number 3 here is we're going to talk about the right path. The right path. Meaning, if everything goes according to 100% plan, the yes path all the way through, what does that look like? So here we have a LinkedIn post is going to go to our blog. Instagram ads can go both to our blog, and we can do other ones that go directly to the landing page. The Facebook boosted post is going to come to your blog because we're boosting a post from the website. So that one's just going to boost right to the blog. Our Facebook ads, we can do one that is an ad based off of the Facebook boosted post. We can also do ads that come down to directly to our landing page opt-in. We can also do ads that will be from our Facebook Live video. And our Facebook Live video is going to drive people right to the opt-in. We also have Twitter posts. Again, these can go to the blog. These can also, come to the landing page. I know it's starting to be a lot of arrows, but as you're doing them, you'll understand where those arrows are coming from and where they're going. So it's helpful to do this on your own, and you will create quite a pretty big mess for sure, and you may end up redrawing it a couple times, but that's just going to help really solidify it in your mind as to how these pieces connect. Okay, keep going here. Instagram video. This one is going to go right to our landing opt-in page. It could also go to the blog. Now, our blog we talked about is going to have an opt-in feature right on the blog. That opt-in feature is going to take them to the landing page. Okay, and then once they opt in, so we've connected all these pieces at the top. Once they've opted in here to the landing page, what are we going to do? They've given us their information. We're going to take them to the thank you page. And on the thank you page, you may offer, which we don't have in here, you may offer an upsell. You may offer just the download link for the thing that they downloaded or that they requested. You may offer them the link to the group that they requested access to. Whatever your opt-in was, you may give it to them right there. You may wait and give it to them in an email. Totally up to you. It depends on kind of what you're after and the process. But for us, we're going to say we go to the thank you. They do have a download. We're also going to immediately fire off email number 1 and run them through the sequence of emails. We put in 3 right here. We're also, as soon as they opt in on the thank you, going to take them right to, we're going to add them onto our long-term nurture list, because that is really the point of all of this, is building your list. Back to your main goal, building your list is getting people onto this long-term nurture list, right? Okay, so that mess is our yes path, okay? That is exactly what we want to do if everybody follows exactly the steps all the way through, exactly how we planned it. Now the next step is what happens when they don't, because we all know as much as you plan it, people do not always follow exactly the steps that you laid out. That brings us to step number 4. And step number 4 is we go back through all of our yes path and we look at what are the alternate routes. What are the pieces that if they don't follow the yes path, what else are we going to do to try to ultimately get them back into the yes path? Now, for social media opt-in, there's not a whole lot of things that you can do. So I'm going to hit just kind of a couple of the high level, more simple ones to follow. And again, this is a pretty simple type roadmap, and do check out the download because it's a lot easier to follow. But so for this, we don't have a whole lot of alternate routes, but let's look at what happens with the few that we have. So we have a whole bunch of different posts, ads, all these things going to either the blog or the landing page. So when we go to the blog and they actually show up on the blog page, but they don't opt in, what can we do? Well, we know that by coming to your blog page, we at least have their IP address, which means we know that they were on your page, which means we can cookie them. We can apply a pixel to them so that we can follow up later. So whether you're using Google AdWords, which we don't even have up here, or just focusing on Facebook stuff. So what we can do is actually apply a pixel to people. And so we're going to pixel them. And then we're going to retarget. So if they do not opt in right here, we're going to apply a pixel. So this is like if they opt in, no if they don't. We're going to apply a pixel. And then with our pixel, we can do some custom audience work. Let's just do, for ease of simplicity right now, just Facebook ads. So when this, we can then do a custom audience back to our Facebook ads. Oh, I guess we only had one. Back to our boosted post ads. And we could run different ads based on like do a different Facebook Live video that was targeting your new custom audience group of people that read the blog post but didn't opt in. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is saying they did not opt in. What are we doing? We're going to pixel them. We're going to retarget them and bring them back in. Okay. LinkedIn. I mean, honestly, I would probably retarget back with mostly Facebook and AdWords. If you can do LinkedIn ads, you can do Instagram ads. Some of those you can kind of get a little bit more complicated into the weeds and tracking people and what they read and what they didn't do. But this is basically what you're going to do. The same thing is get their information and like remarket to them again and see if you can get them to come through the opt-in. Honestly, if you're doing various different opt-ins, here's where this may work is if they didn't opt into this one, you may want to retarget them and see if something else, some other offer that you have makes a little bit more sense for them because they may be more interested in that and inclined to opt in for that one rather than just being remarketed to for the same first one. But for ease of how this works, let's just stick with this one example right now. When you're doing your ultimate ads, you could do that this pixel comes up here and you're going to retarget to opt-in to. And then that opt-in to goes onto a different page and you've got a whole other set of ads and different targeting and lead magnets and all the stuff that you're doing for a whole other set, right? Okay, that's enough for audience work. So then let's come through. So then they hit your landing page and they don't opt in. So we can do the same thing from here. We can retarget, we can pixel them, and we can retarget again to the same thing. You can go up to number 2. You can retarget back to some of the same information, maybe do both. But if they hit that page on your website, you'll be able to track that information and know who they are and then remarket to them again. So then that's really it, because that's if they don't opt in, we're going to retarget them. If they do, they go through our thank you and our email series. As soon as they opt in and we have their information, we're putting them on our long-term nurture list. So that's really, for this one, is really pretty simple. There aren't a lot of no paths or alternate routes that we can do. So that is all we need for step number 4. Okay, so that takes us to our very last step, step number 5. And here's where we actually go through and assign what technologies we're going to be using for each of these elements. So most of these are going to be pretty self-explanatory for this one because we're doing social media opt-in, right? So I'm not even going to worry about like these Instagram ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn. We know exactly where those are coming from. They're all coming from those particular social channels, okay? Our blog post, where is this going to sit? Does it sit right on your website? Is it a super pretty blog post that you've taken and designed up in Lead Pages or Unbounce or ClickFunnels or something like that? Or does it just exist right on your website? Could be either. So this, I'm going to say, we're just going to build this on our website. Our actual opt-in page that we're building. So that is once people are coming either directly to our landing page with the opt-in form, or they're clicking from the blog post and coming into that. Where are they going? Again, you can build that right on your website. Just put a form right on your website. Maybe it's you're using Thrive themes or like a opt-in, something like that from Thrive. Maybe you're using Gravity Forms. Most typically with our clients, what we see is the landing pages we end up building in Lead Pages or ClickFunnels most often. A lot of times we'll do Thrive themes things too. So for this one here, let's say that this is going to be Lead Pages. And Our thank you page could again be right on your website, could be on lead pages. I think for this one, let's go ahead and say we're going to keep this one in lead pages. So we know we're going to have to build 2 pages. This one's automatically going to talk to this one. And then what we need to do is get this information, our lead page, onto our long-term nurture. And our long-term nurture list, let's say, I'm just going to stick with Infusionsoft because we do a lot of Infusionsoft work. So our nurture list is actually going to live in Infusionsoft. Now, we also have our follow-up emails. So since I'm saying that we're using Infusionsoft for this, I'm going to say that we're going to be using Infusionsoft emails. You may be using GetResponse, or if you're using lead pages, you could be using their drip system. You could be using Aweber or MailChimp or anything like that. This is where you're going to go through and say, okay, my emails, I know I'm going to send them from. So for us, on this example here, we're going to say Infusionsoft. Okay. So now I have gone through here, and I know with this entire path here, and granted it is messy, but when you draw it yourself, I guarantee you're going to know exactly what all the pieces mean. So we start up here, we have all of our different social channels. We know we're doing a social opt-in. We're driving them to an opt-in page. We know exactly what technology is working here for your opt-in, what you need to use to build those, how that's going to talk to your CRM, and how you're going to use your CRM to follow up with emails. And it's all mapped out, what needs to happen when, and how they talk to each other. So that's it. That's all it takes to do a technology roadmap. We've just done the simple social opt-in. So what I'd like to know is, what other opt-ins are you doing? Or even for like a social opt-in, what other variations would you be putting in here, or questions that you have on that? So post them in the group, and I will do another social opt-in. We'll do opt-in version number 2 and answer whatever other questions that you guys have. So until next week, you keep on teching and get out there and build yourself your own technology roadmap. Start simple, keep it simple, make sure you're sticking to your goals and planning on accomplishing those goals before you get lost in the weeds of what happens where, what connects to what. Just do it. Just dig in and get it done. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to Technology Road Mapping with your host, Jennifer Neal. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit formuladone.com, formuladone.com/roadmap, and on Twitter and Facebook @formuladone. We'll catch you next time.